is dead in Minneapolis. His name was Alex Preddy. He was 37 years old. He was an ICU nurse, and he was shot to death by federal agents in broad daylight. And here's the part they can't spin away. Video circulating online shows he was on the ground being restrained and was disarmed before shots were fired. So no, I'm not just treating this like just another incident. This is a crisis, and it demands an independent investigation. Multiple outlets have identified the man killed as Alex Jeffrey Preddy, an ICU nurse connected to the Minneapolis VA health system. Federal officials claim he approached during a targeted operation, and that he was armed and that an agent fired what they call defensive shots. But the reason this story is exploding is simple. The public video evidence raises serious questions about that official narrative. And Minneapolis Police Chief Brian O'Hara acknowledged the basics publicly, that Preddy was a lawful gun owner with a permit to carry, and he had no known criminal history beyond traffic parking issues. Here's the detail that matters. The Guardian reports open source analysts reviewing the footage have suggested the video appears consistent with a gun being taken away before the fatal shots. Time describes the sequence shown in videos this way. Preddy appears to be trying to help after a woman is shoved down by ice. He's sprayed, he's dragged to the ground, and then shots fire while he's down. If a person is restrained and no longer an imminent threat, deadly force isn't just a bad look. It becomes a question of criminal accountability. And I'm going to say this carefully and clearly. If the footage shows what it appears to show, then this looks less like self-defense and more like a killing that must be investigated as potentially unlawful. Now let's talk about the investigation, because this is where trust goes to die. Minnesota's Bureau of Criminal Apprehension said it was not allowed access to the scene. The Guardian also reports that state investigators attempted to access the location and were blocked by DHS personnel. That alone is a flashing red warning light, because when an agency effectively controls the scene after its own agents shoot someone to death, people hear one message: we'll investigate ourselves. And that is not accountability, that's choreography. Now we're seeing the political consequences land. The Associated Press reports Democratic senators are now publicly opposing DHS funding after this killing, increasing pressure as the government faces an end-of-month funding deadline. Senator Jackie Rosen said, "The abuses of power we are seeing from ICE in Minneapolis and across the country are un-American and cannot be normalized." And she said she'll vote against funding that supports ICE. Senator Andy Kim, I'm not voting to fund this lawless violence. And that's the point. When people in power finally stop treating this as noise, the system feels it where it actually hurts: funding. And while all of this is happening, the White House message isn't, "We'll be transparent." President Dumpy responded publicly by praising immigration agents and attacking local leadership, framing the federal presence as justified and the agents as patriots. That's the playbook: dehumanize the dead, sanctify the shooter, and dare the public to forget. But we have video, we have witnesses, we have a man's life erased. So here's what I'm asking for, and I'm asking it plainly. A truly independent investigation with full transparency, immediate release of all body cam footage, dispatch logs, and internal communications. A clear answer to why state investigators were blocked from the scene. Federal oversight that does not amount to DHS reviews DHS. Because if the video is right, and it is, then what happened in Minneapolis wasn't an unfortunate incident. It was a killing in public, and a democracy that shrugs at that is a democracy bleeding out. Do not let them normalize what we just saw.